Hello there folks, and welcome back to Space Engineers Survival Exploration Mode. So they have added a couple of things in the new update as suspected. One of the things they've added is a space ball, insert reference here. It's nothing special. It kind of acts as artificial mass a little bit. Also it can, bounce around like a ball would, and that's, pretty much just about it. Also it does have broadcasting like a lot of these blocks, and there's really not much of a use for it, but it's in there, so there's that. However, the main thing that they've added in the game is far more use for oxygen, and we're going to take a look at that right now. So as you see, our suit itself has oxygen now if you have oxygen enabled in the world that you are using. So that actually gives us a reason to take off our helmet, because say our oxygen's running low and we stumble across an environment that has an atmosphere in it, we can take off the helmet. And let's take off our helmet. Although it says our suit has 0 oxygen, when we put our suit back on, we will have full oxygen as long as the atmosphere in the room is high. Also, that means when we run out of oxygen and we run out of energy, we will not die when we have oxygen in our environment. So we can run out of suit energy, but if we have an atmosphere where we are, we will not lose any of our health. So that's kind of cool. Also, as you see, when we put on our helmet again, ta-da, we have 100% oxygen again. So there we go. That's a reason to have pressurized cabins. Also, another thing that they've added in the game, as you saw, probably go away. There we go. As you saw in my inventory, I have these oxygen bottles, and they are at 100%, and that's because I filled them up earlier. So if we go to our assembler and we go to production, yeah, that's the correct one, and we go to tools, we have these oxygen bottles we can make. I made a whole bunch of them, so I can actually go grab some more. There we go. And the whole point of the oxygen bottle is that we can take it with us and we can put it in small cockpits and stuff like that, because if your suit oxygen is running low and you're in a cockpit, the cockpit doesn't automatically have oxygen in it. You have to put the oxygen tanks in there, and it will draw from the oxygen tanks if you put it in there. So let's put these there. They'll go automatically to the oxygen generator. However, we used up all of our ice, so we need to go to our oxygen tank, I believe. Yeah, we need to put them in our oxygen tank, because our oxygen tank still has some, well, it still has some oxygen left in it. So we can go to our control panel, oxygen tank, and we can refill the bottles here. So then we can go to our inventory tank, and there we go. The oxygen tank has refilled our oxygen bottles. So let's grab these. And now there's one more thing to show you. I suppose I better put on my helmet, because I don't want to forget about that. Oh wait, my helmet's already on, that's right. Okay, so that's fine. Also, when you do gather energy at the medical station, it does not recuperate or refill your oxygen, so you have to do that separately. Alright, well, let's open the door. And the other thing that they've added, kind of in tandem with the oxygen, is small cockpits now have areas for connectors and whatnot, because that will be very important when you want to use oxygen in your ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you what the back of this cockpit back here looks like. So we're going to grind away this metal block. I don't want to have to make a new one. And, well, that's strange. There should be 2. I suppose this is probably because I made this. Oh no, that's a large cockpit. That's why. Small cockpits are different than large cockpits. So that I completely forgot that this is a large ship. So we're going to have to build a small cockpit to show you what I'm talking about. Wonder why it wasn't building. Oh well, there we go. So we're going to build a small cockpit, and we'll put it on... Actually, oh no, we already started grinding that away. Where is my fighter ship? Where'd my fighter ship go? Because I would like to use that. It's gone. Aw. Oh, no, no. It's not gone. I'm just blind. Alright, well. Actually, I will just build a small cockpit. And we'll put it on a ship so we can show you where the connection points are for the conveyors, so that we can put oxygen in our cockpits. So production, small block, assembler number 4, and we will do one of each. And while it's doing that, I believe that I had finished making most of the components necessary to fix our ship that I destroyed last episode. So I think we needed small steel tubes, and that was about it. We'll take... I think we needed like 55 of them, so we'll take an extra couple with us in case we ever need extras. I think that was all that we needed. We'll bring some thrust components with us because we also need to make some thrusters. Okay, yep, there's the stuff that we need. It's probably too many steel plates. And there we go. Alright, so let's build the thrusters. And then we will go and show you all about those cockpits. Also, we need to put another reactor on here. Completely forgot about that. Alright, well, we're gonna finish the drill. So the drill's gonna be working again, so that's good. And then we need to make our small thrusters. So, you know, this new oxygen thing makes the survival a lot harder than it was before, because not only do we need energy to survive, which was actually pretty easy, we have to have oxygen to survive, and that's a lot harder to come by because we have to have oxygen generators. And I can't imagine how somebody starting off in a world would try to survive without having any oxygen. They'd have to make oxygen bottles all the time, which would be kind of annoying. And yet they'd still have to have an oxygen generator or a refinery running, because you can make or refill oxygen bottles at refineries. Okay, so let's dump this stuff off. And where's that assembler? We're going to grab all the parts. There we go. And we'll keep that stuff with us. And let us show you all about these new cockpits. We're just going to throw it on top of here for the time being. So let's gather a cockpit and then a fighter cockpit. As you see, there is a very, very large connector thing right there. And there's a smaller one in the front, which you can use for oxygen bottles or whatever. Let me see if I can rotate it on the side. And there's also one on the bottom. I suppose I actually didn't need to make the components to show you this, but... And yes, and there are the ones on the side, which I thought we would find on the large cockpits, but apparently not. They're not on the large cockpits yet. Rotate it on the side, and there's a big one on the bottom. So, that means for this ship here, I do want to make oxygen a thing for this ship, so I'm going to see if I can gently... Well, I don't want to accidentally break this, but I'm going to actually grind this away, and we are going to fit this with oxygen. A refilling oxygen system. Oh god, that was a stupid idea. I've done this before, and I did it again. Alright, well, I'm going to grab those parts before they float away. I forgot that my inventory was full. Take all my stuff. I think I can grab all this. It's not floating too far away. Come back here, motor. There we go. And computer. Alright. That could have been worse. So it actually looks like it's all hooked up to the... Yeah, it's already all hooked up, so all we need to do is throw it onto the connector back there. So we'll throw the containers in the connector back there, and then we should be able to have oxygen in our cockpit. So I think we needed computers and small steel tubes. And can't remember what else we needed to finish this, but... Alright, so now that we know that the connectors are connected to the cockpit... Actually, they're not connected in the correct way, though, because that is the large... yeah, that is the... That's the large connector, and the small connectors are on the back of this one. However, if I put a fighter cockpit there... I think if we put a fighter cockpit there, we'll be fine. In fact, I'm going to throw these oxygen bottles in here if I can, just so we can have some more... Okay, maybe not. Just so we can have some more room in our inventory, because they do take up a significant amount of space. Okay, there we go. And I think we're going to have to make it a fighter cockpit. It'll look really weird, but the fighter cockpit is the only cockpit that will work with the connectors back there. So there we go. And rotation game. There we go. And you don't want to be placed there. Why is that? Okay, yep, there we go. That's correct. We need construction components, steel plates, and all sorts of things. So let's grab everything out of here then. Construction components, steel plates, and motors, displays, computers, small steel tubes, probably some interior plate, but I think we used up all of our inventory space. Well, we don't need that many, so we'll bring some of those back and take some of that. Alright. And we just need 5 interior plate, and we're done. Alright. And while we're doing this, as you see, our oxygen level is going down. So we will definitely be able to see if this works when we get the oxygen working in our cockpit. And there you go. We have 100% oxygen. That's because our oxygen has been refilled from the bottles that are in our ship. And as you can see, it sucked up all of our oxygen. But we do have oxygen in our cockpit now, so that is nice. And our oxygen in our suit is now 100%. So that is very, very nice indeed. And if I go back in, yep, it refills it because the cockpit has oxygen. It won't have oxygen forever. In fact, I think, let's take a look at, I wonder if it actually will show us in the, let's see here, the fighter cockpit. It doesn't actually show us how much oxygen we have left, unfortunately. I'm sure there is an area where it will show us that, but I don't know what all these things are, so I can't actually show it to you, unfortunately. Alright, well, there you go. That worked quite well. Now our ship looks a little bit odd. Yeah, I'm going to have to fix that. But that gives you an idea of how the oxygen works for cockpits now. Okay, so now that that's all done, I'm actually going to shut the door, and I'm going to repressurize everything except for the hangar in here, because it really needs it. Also, that means we're gonna have to start pressurizing the mothership very soon, because that's of utmost importance. So this control panel, air vent, so air vent front, depressurize off, engineering, Depressurize off is already off. And we'll keep the airlock depressurizing. And the airtight hangar doors are going to stay that way. Okay, so there we go. I think that has been a successful tutorial-ish sort of thing. Now we need to finish those. I think we needed large steel tubes and just some thrust components to finish those. Large steel tubes. There we go. Don't need that, so that's probably more than enough for our thrusters, and now we need thrust components. Okay, well, we'll take one more trip up there, and then we should be done. At least making those thrusters. And then we will have repaired our ship, except for the... Well, what else do I need to make? I need to make that one more nuclear reactor, and then we'll be fine. So I suppose I can get the nuclear reactor being processed right now. Or assembled, rather. So, let's do production, large blocks, assembler 4, small, yeah, it is a large block, isn't it? Yeah, it is a large block, and it is just a regular small reactor. Alright, now we just need those thrust components. Inventory. Don't need those. We will need many of those. And while we finish the thrusters, we will be able to finish the reactor, because all the components will be done by the time we get there, hopefully. There we go. One made, and another one finished. So let us grab the rest of this stuff, and I think we'll be done then. And then we will definitely have to work on the oxygen, because it is of utmost importance right now. I really cannot imagine trying to survive in a ship that doesn't have an oxygen generator. That would be really, really hard. So let's go to the control panel, production, how much still needs to be produced. It's almost done. So let's grab all this stuff before it gets transported into the cargo container, because it always does that. And just about done. Alright, now we need to get some uranium on us. I'm not sure where we put our uranium. Yep, there's some, but that's in a small reactor, large cargo container. That's the one. We'll take 25 with us. Okay, and let's put that guy down. Small reactor. Make sure it's rotated somewhat correctly. There we go. Ah, beautiful. And it looks like we repaired our ship perfectly. Also, I do, before we actually call this an episode, I want to make sure that I didn't lose my station. So I'm just going to venture off a little bit with this guy. Yeah, there we go. And I believe the station, or the mining station, was down in this general direction. I think it's that cluster of asteroids right down there. So I'm just going to head down here. It should show up after about 3,000 meters. So we're about 1,000 meters away right now, so about 3 times the distance. We should get that speck on our radar again. Turn our inertial dampers off. And any minute now, hopefully. Well, I'm going to go until I find it, so I'll see you guys back in a bit. Okay, it was just a little bit later. It was 5,000 meters away, not 3,000. And we're slowing down, so I'm going to, off screen, we're going to just increase the radius of the mining beacon, and that'll be it. So thank you folks for watching this episode, and I will see you folks next time.